welcome to Stacy's Homestead, and I'm in the middle of a canning session right now, and so I thought, hey, I got all my jars out. Let's go over the different types of jars that we're going to use in our canning. Okie dokie, so here's all my different size jars. So there's really only two size jars that you need to be worried about when it comes to your processing times. So you have your quart jars, which are these ones. You have your quart jars, okay? Most recipe books are going to give you your times in quarts or pints only, okay? So these are your quart jars. So each size jar has a option. You can have a regular mouth, which has a tiny bit of a bottleneck, and you can't fit your hand in, but they hold the same amount of liquid. Or a wide mouth, which it just does not have that bottleneck, and you can fit your hand inside of it, and it still holds. They're both quarts, okay? They hold the same amount. All right, pints have the same thing. So you have your pint jars, which is regular mouth, a little bit of a tiny bottleneck there, and you got your pint wide mouth. So you only need two size lids. So you got your wide mouth lid and your regular mouth lid. These lid sizes fits every jar. So this will fit all size jars that have wide mouth. Every single size jar that you can find that is a wide mouth. And this will fit every single size jar that you can find that's a regular lid, okay? So there's two different lids, wide and regular, okay? So you're gonna have other size jars that are in between your quarts and your pints. For instance, you're gonna have a pint and a half jar they have. It's a pint and a half. It's in between quart and pint, okay? So when you process anything that is over a pint but under a quart, it's going to be for quart times, okay? So anything that's under a quart but over a pint will be your quart times. So if you have these pint and a half jars and you want to fill them up and use them, go ahead, but you process for quart times. And then there's another size jars, the smaller ones, and all the smaller ones are going to be processed for pint times. So anything smaller than a pint, they're just going to be pint times. No matter how small the jar is, you do pint times. So here we go, look at this. This is a nice little different type of size jar, but it's the same size as pints. Pints are 16 ounces. See? So this is a 16-ounce jar, and this is a 16-ounce jar. So you process for the same time as pints. This is the interesting jelly jar, which is just holds a tiny smaller amount. So pint is 16. This is 12 ounces. I like these for like barbecue sauces and jams and stuff. So you got your pint, which is 16 ounces. And then this little neat one, it's a bit taller, but it's skinnier, and it's a 12-ounce jar. So it's smaller than a pint. That means you process for pint times. Hold on, I gotta put my spinning thing on, my weight on my canner. All right, where was I? This is a 4-ounce jar. This would be processed for pint times. And then you have an 8. Both of these are 8 ounces. This is a cool little one. I like these for mimicking, like when I can fish. It looks like a tuna can, right? So I put all of my fish in this. But this is 8-ounce jars. That's 8 ounces. It's just a different shape. And this is 8-ounce jars. 8 ounces processes at pint times. Okay? Because they're all smaller than a pint. It's very easy. So don't let the different size jars, intimidate you. They really, it's my son singing in the background. So here's a tiny one. This is, I forget, I think it was like 2 ounces. It's smaller than this one, so it has to be 2 ounces. I like these as gifts. So I'll put like some in there that I think that I could, you know, maybe some jam, some syrup, some pickled product. Like this is candied jalapenos in here. I like these little jars. I like to give them away as gifts. So it's 2 ounces, but you would still process pint times in the cookbook. So whatever ingredients you have, you would process for the ingredient time according to the pints. Okay? So there's only one jar that's in between the, you know, so you got your pint and a half. That's the only jar that's in between. So pint and a half, you just do quart times. And then you do have half-gallon jars. Some people will can in those, and you have to look it up. I forget, but I know that you add a certain percentage on top to figure out the time. So you have to do a little bit of math on that to figure it out, because those aren't usually in recipe books. But you can look it up easy, find that information if you wanted to can and quart or half gallons. So, and these are Tatler lids, okay? Tatler lids are reusable lids, and they're cool. It takes a little bit of learning curve. I have a fingernail clippers in here because these Tatler lids, they come with these little like plastic tabby things that get in the way of sealing sometimes if you don't take them off. Right there, see that little thing? You just take this and you cut it right off. Just cut it right off, and then it's gone. See? So you have to go around your new stuff and get those little tags off. It's just left over from the molding process. And then they also come in wide mouth and regular mouth. Okay? And just make sure your gaskets are nice and clean before you use them. They have a little powder residue on there. You gotta wash off. But they're pretty cool. You can reuse these over and over again. They say up to 10 times, but I've reused them way more than that, probably like 20 times. I'm not joking. Until it just gets stretched out and like too brittle, or, you know. But yeah, I use those, and then you just buy replacement gaskets. So that's all about all the different size types jars we got. Alrighty, so that's all about the different size canning jars out there, and don't let them like really intimidate you. It's just pretty easy. It's just really quarts and pints. That's all you got to worry about. Anything smaller than that pint, you just can for pint times. So, and it's only, even though we have different types of sizes jars, there's only 2 lids, wide and regular, and they fit every single jar. So they all have the same size openings, no matter the size jar. So you got the same size opening here would fit, same size opening for this one, same size opening for this one. This is regular, they're all regular mouth, same size opening. Even this tiny one has same size. So, and there's just 2 different brands of jars that you would trust. You got Ball and Kerr. So Kerr jars, for some reason, is cheaper than Ball, but I have both of them. And then you got Kerr lids and Ball lids. So I use those. Those are the jars I use. I don't trust any other jars. They're too cheap. You can reuse mayonnaise jars, and if your lids will fit it, you can reuse old mayonnaise jars. So those are something. And then there's even salsa jars. Let me go get it real fast. All right. So we got our Classico sauce jars. I make my own homemade spaghetti sauce, but I will buy it for the jars. So I bought, and when there's a jar shortage, I went and just bought a bunch of Classico spaghetti sauces, and you can in these. You can, your lids and everything will fit on it. So these are good. pretty good, cool deal there. Alrighty, so that's all you need to know about the different size jars and the different types of canning times based on your jar sizes. So you'll also find those information in a good canning book. So we got the blue book, Guide to Preserving, a ball book. There's plenty of them. They'll have all you need to know in it. Also, the USDA Guide to Home Canning. Okay, in my other part 1, how to can video, I accidentally said FDA, but I meant USDA. Okay, so, you know, Rebel canners still have to abide by all the times. It's just, if you're like considered a Rebel canner, you're just canning products that aren't approved. And remember, products that aren't approved aren't necessarily dangerous. It just means that they haven't been tested and results published. So that's why they're, you know, like milk, for instance, that I can is not an approved canning product, but I can it because I know it's safe, because people have been canning milk for a long, long time. They just haven't tested it in here. But anywho, there's this. It'll tell you all the times. You have to do the times and procedures for your product to be safe. You can't fudge on those. So, another good canning book is the Amish Canning Cookbook. So this has a lot of good simple recipes, just like for your basic foods and basic recipes, and it's for large batches as well. So I like that. Your other like ball blue books have smaller batch canning. You just have to double the recipes though. So we're going to talk about all the times that are given in most of these books. So they're going to give you the times based on your altitude, like the most common altitude. And the most common altitude for every cookbook is 10 pounds of pressure. And they're going to give you canning times based on 10 pounds of pressure, which is 1,000 feet or below above sea level. Did I say that right? Let's read it. It also says it in the book. So it says, the processing time given in this book for high acid foods and canning are based on canning at or below 1,000 feet above sea level. Using the boiling water method or canning, when processing at altitudes higher than 1,000 feet above sea level, adjust the processing time according to the boiling water canning chart. You can find those charts anywhere, and there's also a website like called Home Canning and Preserves website. I'm not exactly sure on the exact name, but just type it in and it'll show you. But here's a chart that they give you. So this one, I don't know if you can see. Boiling water canning altitude adjustments, and then pressure canning altitude adjustments. So I don't know if you're able to see that because it's glossy pages. It's kind of glossy. So, but so the times are, you know, the common times and weight is 10 pounds because a lot of people live at or below 1,000 feet above sea level. So that's my altitude. That's the times I can at. So I follow I'm lucky I don't have to look it up, but if you are above it, you need to adjust for those, for that time. So, and there's that, and we'll just talk to you later, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye-bye.